Hi everyone, this is again your teacher Mark, and today we are going to talk about Introduction to Algorithms. This video is still part of our basic computer programming series, and in this video we'll tackle about a fundamental approach about algorithms, which are very important in the beginning parts of learning computer programming. So I hope you will like this video. So after this video, you are expected to define what an algorithm is. Again, an algorithm is a very important component in the beginning phases of learning computer programming. We'll also identify the ways in developing an algorithm. So that means an algorithm is something that we develop, it's something that we write, and this will serve as our guide along the way as we continue learning computer programming and eventually learning how to code it. Also, in this video, we will develop an algorithm using the human language. So I will show to you how do we start um, developing an algorithm, which is again a very important component in learning computer programming. Now, before we formally proceed to the definition of algorithms, I need you to observe the following figures shown on your screen right now. On the left side is a set of instructions of a chicken recipe, and on the right side is also a set of instruction to getting the sum of two numbers. Now, both of these figures contain instructions, and so because they contain instructions, it's expected that we are trying to perform some task. In other words, these instructions form what we call an algorithm. And both set of instructions are basically called an algorithm. In other words, an algorithm is a set of instructions that specifies how to complete a task. So from the given figures, from the right side, the task is to get the sum of two numbers, while on the left side, the task is to cook that chicken recipe. Now, for us to be able to accomplish these two different tasks, we need to follow the given instructions carefully, or else we will not be able to perform the tasks. Now, another figure is shown on your screen right now, and I need you to observe if the given instructions are correct. Now, again, the task in this case is to get the sum of two numbers. Now, looking at the given instructions, you will automatically spot that the third instruction is incorrect. The task again is to get the sum of two numbers, but the third instruction is telling us to subtract uh, the two numbers. Of course, that is incorrect, and so we say that this algorithm is incorrect. Now, in developing algorithms, you need to be sure about the problem statement. In other words, you need to clarify what is being asked, what particular task is expected to be accomplished. Now, after that, you will then be able to identify the necessary instructions or algorithm that we can use or follow in order for us to be able to successfully accomplish the task. Now, in terms of the importance of algorithms, actually, these instructions will guide you through along the way as we begin coding, as we continue learning computer programming. So, what we code will eventually be based from what we have designed or what we have developed as an algorithm. In other words, the algorithm will guide us through as soon as we begin coding and finally developing for the program that will solve the particular problem statement, which is the task. Now, in developing or writing algorithms, we can do that by using a simple human language such as English. And then we can also do that in a graphical manner through the use of flowcharts. Now, as computer science and information technology, it is fundamental and essential that you know how to develop an algorithm by means of graphical manner through the use of a flowchart, because this will help you interpret, and this will help you by the time when you collaborate with your classmates be able to clearly understand your proposed solution to the required tasks or problem statements that you will be working along the way as you continue this field of study. Now, this figure shows to us the algorithm that is done using the human language. So, as you can see, the task again is to get the sum of two numbers, and simply what we write on our instructions are items of basic instructions that we need to follow in order for us to get the sum of two numbers. Now, this is not performed in a graphical manner because it is not a flow chart. In fact, it is never a chart. So it's simply a bullet of words or sentences in English format, which is collectively, again, what we call an algorithm. There are also variations in writing algorithm. When I say variations, there's really no exact words or um, English words that you can use when you design or develop your algorithms. I mean, if you check the figure on the left side, the first instruction says to get the first number, while on the right side, the instruction did not use the word or the verb get, rather, it used the word enter. So, regardless of these words, because they are synonymous and they are the same in a way, these variations or these figures are correct, and they can be used to get the sum of two numbers. Now, if you observe carefully, the logic of both algorithms is entirely the same. Now, like I said, and like what we have talked about so far, algorithms can be developed or written in English format. Ideally, as computer science and information technology students, you can convert that into a graphical um, manner through the use of what we call a flowchart. Now, there is a separate video about flowcharts. We will discuss and tackle the meaning of the symbols, but as early as now, at least, it's essential that you be able to understand that algorithms may be written in narrative format, or ideally, it can also be written or developed using flowcharts, as you can see on the screen right now. Now we have a sample here, the first sample that I can show to you, and the first variation for an algorithm to compute the quotient of two numbers. Now this variation states that the first instruction is to enter the two numbers, and then we get the quotient by performing division on the two numbers, and then we say we display the result or quotient. It's a good thing that we always display whatever is asked based on the required task. So it's a good thing that we always end it with something that looks like display the result or display the quotient, or depending on the required task. Now I need you to observe this variation compared to this variation. Now, the previous variation integrates the numbers to be asked from the end user. These numbers again will be divided so that we'll be able to get the quotient. However, on this variation, we did not ask the user to enter the two numbers right away. Instead, we first ask for the first number, and then we ask for the second number, and then we said divide the two numbers to get quotient. And number four, we said display the result or quotient. So this is rather straightforward compared to the previous example. So again, regardless of the variation, for as long as the logic is the same and correct, then there is no problem. Another sample here is the algorithm for comparing two numbers and determining which is the biggest. So we could say enter the two numbers, and then would also say compare two numbers. If the first number is greater than the second number, then display first number as the biggest. Otherwise, we display the second number as the biggest. So that's in the case if the first number is not greater than the second number. Now observe the second variation. We'll be able to create four instructions. In this case, we say enter the first number and then enter the second number. And then we say if the first number is greater than the second number, then display first number as the biggest number. And then we said if the first number is not greater than the second number, then display the second number as the biggest number. So again, these are only variations regardless of the variations. For as long as the logic is correct and the same, then there is no problem. This further means that if student 1 submitted an answer that looks like the first variation and student 2 submitted an answer that looks like this variation, then both students are correct. So for the summary, we have just defined what algorithms are. Again, they are simply sets of instructions that guide the computer how to perform a particular task. And we've also identified the ways to develop algorithms. You can do it through the narrative format using English language, or ideally, as computer science and information technology students, you can develop algorithms using the graphical manner, such as a flow chart. And then I have also shown you some examples of algorithms based on different tasks. And so I would encourage you to think of a particular task and start writing your algorithms and let me know in the comment section. I hope you like this video. I'll see you on the next video and I hope you subscribe to my channel. Thank you.